we're going to be looking at developing an effective workforce. Now, as we all know, the company has been growing, and any growth that is not planned or directed will definitely lead to a structure where the weight of the structure becomes bigger than the foundation behind under it, and the next thing is for that organization to collapse. Because if you looked at the average Igbo man's business workforce, if you study the history of most Nigerian businesses, especially those from the southeast, you will notice a general trend. Notice a trend whereby the business is started by somebody, and after some time, it seems as if the business plateaus. And the next thing you know is that that man that was doing very well, suddenly you find him struggling, and before you know it, he's almost begging for food. And part of the reason why this is a common trend amongst Nigerian business owners is that they fail to understand that your business gets to a stage where you need an effective workforce. And when you don't deliberately plan that workforce, that business is destined to collapse. 2 days ago, one of our clients called me that he just sent some of his boys home because he realized that when he went to their room to do some random checks, he found some huge amount of money that they've been lodging into their personal account. Now, all these things are happening because some of the structures that would have been put in place by an effective workforce was not there. So, I want to talk today about building an effective workforce. And the first thing is that if you want to build an effective workforce, you need to start by exposing them to top deals. What do I mean by this? Let's say you employ a marketer, for instance. The marketer might be able on his or her own to have do transactions of about 100,000 or 200,000 because everybody has mental limits. If, for instance, all my life I've been used to in an environment where the biggest business transaction I've been involved in is 100,000. If you ask me to go and do a 5 million business deal, my mind cannot carry it. And the next thing I will do is to mentally sabotage that deal or find a way of running away from it. Which means if you are getting a salesperson and you want that person to start to do, you give the person a target of like 10 million, and the person's career, the person has never done any transaction above 100,000. There's no way that person can handle it. So the first thing is for you as the business owner to get a big transaction. Take the person along to those deals. Let the person see you handle it. And the person know that, okay, this thing you are telling me to do is actually possible. But if you ask somebody to go and generate sales of 20 million, and the person has never seen where 500,000 naira sales has been generated, in the person's mind cannot comprehend it. And there's no way that person can meet that kind of deal. I said this with some of our staff at Counselor. Recently, I just went to do a training at Oka, and the person called me, say it's like there's a special kind of training you give to your people. And I also give an example of this in my pharmaceutical business. One of the worst mistakes I made, which was part of the reason why that business failed, was that I didn't have exposure in the marketing industry. I just started the business and went into it, and because I didn't have this deal exposure, I noticed that without me even being conscious of it, I was scared of going to meet the very big pharmaceutical wholesalers because these were the kind of people I felt I could easily sell to. Because nobody has coached me on how to do high volume sales. So it's one of the things I want you guys in every aspect. You want to build an effective workforce in every aspect. Be it accounting, be it customer service, be it marketing, be it your stock, Don't just get somebody, give the person product knowledge and say go and start work. Let somebody show the person this thing that we are telling you to do is not impossible. This is how to do it. Once somebody has seen that something has been done before, everybody will know that this is possible. That is why this video is very important. In fact, like there's this 4-minute miles. That's, as at that time, it was believed that because the way the human body is constructed, that nobody could run 1 mile under 4 minutes, under 3 minutes. Then one day, one guy called Roger Bannister came, and after practicing for a long time, he ran a mile in 2 minutes and 59 seconds. And immediately he did it. Within the next 6 months, more than 200 people ran that. Because somebody has done it and people know that yes, this thing is possible. The same thing applies to our staff. In every area, let somebody show these people that this thing can actually be done. Once they see it, every other person will know that this thing is possible.
Everyone said that if you get a duck and you want the duck to fly, no matter the training you give to the duck, no matter all the motivational talk you give to the duck,
that from day one, ensure that the people you have are eagles. Because eagles already have inbuilt character to fly. What they might need is just the motivation for them to bring out what they already have. But no matter the motivation you give to a dog, no matter the training you give to a dog, it will never fly. Which means there are certain kind of people that no matter what you do to them, they will never give you any result in your business. So you need to, as a business owner, which is something that Boy was saying in one of his talks, that one of the most difficult things for organization is firing loyal but dysfunctional staff. Which means you have dogs in your system who always coming to work on time, but always giving you low result in the tasks you're giving them to carry out. If you want to build an effective workforce, it's better you have 2 people who are doing the job of 5 people and giving you effective results than you have 7 people who are doing the job of 5 people and giving you the result of 3 people. Yes, then on Saturday I got a call from the company that we'll be working with. So the MD wants us to come and do their national training for them, for all their staff. Say, so, you know what? There was an advice you gave me about 3 years ago. You asked me to stop hiring cheap labor. That I should make out the money I used to pay 3 people. I should combine it and pay 1 person and give the person the work of 4. That when he checked that he was paying about 50,000 and I advised him to pay 150. But when he checked how he can move from 50,000 to 150, he didn't find it possible. But he decided to do that. And what he knows is that his sales just did like this. Because he hired 1 person, paid the person the salary of 2 people, gave the person the job of 3 people. So for us too, now let's not, which is something that you guys might need to work on here. If you already say, okay, our starting salary is this amount, there are certain people you're automatically weeding out from coming into your system. Certain egos cannot come here. And you find out that you're accumulating a lot of dogs in your system. And that will give you a huge challenge. The next one is sharpening the saw. Now, you notice that if you want to cut something, let's say you go to the market and you buy a knife. When you buy the knife and maybe you are trying to slice some vegetables, just a small touch from the knife slices all the vegetables. But with time, the knife is getting blunt. And for you to not get that same knife, called DDC, you need to
put more pressure. But if you want it to go back to its initial effective stage, you need to go to the market and sharpen that knife. Unfortunately, because people check that if I go back to the market, I need to spend money to sharpen this knife. Let me be managing it. And they're applying more pressure and getting lesser results. There's nothing as critical as training to get the best out of your staff. Training is what differentiates. In fact, a study was done in, I think about 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I can't remember. Fortune 1000 companies. They wanted to find out what Fortune 1000 companies are the top 1000 companies in the world. What is unique about these guys? And they find out that whether there's depression or recession or anything, these guys spend about 20% of their revenue on training their staff. They never cut down their investment on staff development because they understand the importance of sharpening the sword. And there's something that we do at Counselor, which I think if you guys start, it can actually help you, but it's difficult to enforce. Every month, before anybody gets their salary, they must. What would they submit before you get your salary?
You submit a certificate.
Before you get your salary, you must take an online course and submit the certificate to us. Because I've come to understand that yes, we are a training organization, yes, we are running internal training, but I want every staff to go out of their way to actually develop themselves. Now let me tell you guys how powerful this personal development is. I want to share the story of my son yesterday. So we were driving and we're going somewhere and we're asking, so which kind of pet should we get for when we move to our new campus? And we said, okay, do we need to get a dog? My son said no, dog have rabies. I said, what is rabies? He said it's a kind of microbial infection. This guy said to analyze rabies for me. I turned and looked at my wife. How did this guy get this level of knowledge? I said, okay, let's get to chicken. My daughter said no, chicken comes with bird flu. That bird flu is a viral infection that transfers from birds to human beings. You know what? Every week, I have a deal with them. If you read one book, you get 200 naira. Why I'm doing that? Because I understand that knowledge is the new currency. You must sharpen yourself for you to get the result you want out of your system. And the way it is, it's more like, it's not something you can, if you don't force people to do it, they won't do it. Nobody, for me personally, I know the number of how effort it takes me to just complete an online course on my own. But because I know that this is important, I force myself to do it. It's more like I come here now, I'm supposed to do a training for you guys, and I'm repeating the same thing I've given you guys 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Between I wake up by 4:30 every morning. Between 4:30 and now, I'm listening to Jesse Duplantis. I'm listening to my Bulldog, not my Bulldog. What's this? John Maxwell. I've listened to Shark Tank. So between that time and now, I've listened to about 4 video trainings because I know that is the currency I use to do my deals. So I know that sharpening the saw is important. Okay, the next point. Place strategic influencers all around you. Now, so what do I mean by this?
That's what?
Strategic influencers. I was listening to a video. I was watching a video, and they were doing an experiment. They did a recording for a whole day of people. This escalator where you stand and it just carries you up. and there's, just like in the airport, there's the staircase that you can walk. They did a normal recording of just people climbing. And in the space of one day, they noticed that less than 2 people used the staircase. About almost every other person was using the escalator. Then the next day, they now did that. They now put a sign with an arrow. The sign said, "You want to lose 7 kg," and pointed to the staircase. Over this distance, 50% of the people, just because of that small sign, use the staircase. In fact, because they say one man got to this, as I go on the staircase, he will walk up and walk down, walk up and walk down, without knowing that he had been influenced to take that action. Now, on the reading part of my listening, when I read this thing, they said, why do you think people watch more TVs in the house? If you check your house, average house has the television at the center, has comfortable chairs arranged around it, focus on the television. So the natural thing you do is you come and you relax, focus on the distance. So what I did that made my children take interest in reading was I shifted the television in my house to the end and built a massive bookshelf, so that the bookshelf was occupying a more prominent place. I now took out the television in the room and took it to the school, which reduced the things you normally come and just without even knowing that you are doing it. So the only thing that is very prominent is the books. For you guys, you need to start to actually look at the things that, without people knowing it, will unconsciously stimulate them to take certain positive actions, and put it around them to actually stimulate them to take those kind of actions you want them to take. Which is why Seaway is powerful. Do you know that if you walk into a shop and you see a price on a product, the probability that you negotiate the price is less than 1%. But that same product, you walk into a business and there's no price tag on it, it's more than 70% chance that you negotiate the same item. So something as small as a notice on a wall. This is what we're about. These are the things you must do. Can play a huge role. Company miss in building effective workforces. They don't understand the value of mistakes. Somebody makes a mistake, for instance, and then they might just shout on the person, and it goes on. But inside every mistake lies the seed of improvement. Because any mistake you don't do a post-analysis on, there's a 100% chance that give it about 6 months, that same mistake will be repeated. But once there's a mistake and it's okay, why did this thing happen? What role did we play? And how can we avoid it happening again? Let's say if you go into an aircraft, the manual of how to fly an aircraft is almost as thick as a yellow page. And you know why it's thick? That after every aircraft crash, they analyze it. Why did this thing crash? These are the mistakes that these pilots made, and they put it in that manual. If you are flying an aircraft, you don't do this, do this, do this, based on the mistake that have made. Which means in designing your SOP, you look at the mistakes that have been made and say, okay, normally it's in the morning when you come in the morning, you open the door, switch on the light. But because somebody had done that and there was a spark, it's okay. This switching on the light first caused this part. So you redesign your SOP, open the door, confirm that the fuse are okay before you switch on the light. So your mistakes should be a tool to redesigning your standard operating procedures. Another one is design victory giving small projects. What do I mean by this? Every worker is stimulated by victory. There is a small victory giving project. I will explain. Every worker is encouraged by achievement. But there are certain, assuming you ask somebody now, go and sell 30 toilets. The person might go there and not be able to sell anyone and come back. And that inability to sell 30 toilets start to affect them. Assuming you say the person, okay, don't start with toilets, start with pan connector, start with tape. The person goes out, sells tapes. I can sell. Sells pan connector. I can sell. Sell the taps. Then that way you're gradually now moving into difficult to sell. But if you load up everything at once, the toilets, this thing, before you know it, they just have a mental pathway created in mind that, oh boy, these things are hard to sell. So you need to start them off with the very easy victories, so that they already have a chain of success. But if you start with the big one and they start with a chain of rejections, no, before you know it, they become demoralized. But you start with the chain of small victories as it's building up. Along the line, when they gather that momentum and see themselves that I'm a very good salesperson, that is when you now start to introduce the difficult products for them. That is why you start with 1 plus 1 before you move to arithmetic, move to mathematics, move to geometry, before you move to advanced further math and go. Because there are certain things you just bring, everybody will just lock down and move out. So I'm trying to rush because of the time we can give us. Culture analysis. One of the biggest destroyer of every company is the culture of that organization. And what does culture mean? Culture is simply a group of habits practiced by a group of individuals in a certain setting. Which means, without you even knowing it, if you take out time to study your organization, you find out that there are certain habits that you expect everybody here to operate by. There are certain things that somebody will do, people will shout on the person, because these are not part of your habits that are allowed. And without knowing it, you are indirectly building the culture of your organization. The danger is that if you are not deliberate in creating your culture, if you don't come out and list these are the things that are allowed, these are things that are not allowed, before you know it. Let me give you an example. When I was going in the university, there was a woman that I used to visit their place. And one day I went there, the daughter bought a new clothes. And it was this half-top shirt. And the way this woman raved about it, and the daughter went and kept it. And after about 2 or 3 months, I came back and I saw one of the daughters wearing the same thing in the same environment. Now, because she did not enforce a habit by saying, I don't want this thing in my house, get rid of this thing and destroy this thing, that thing came back. Her children wore it and it became acceptable, and it had become a culture in her house. If you don't clearly define, these are the things that are allowed, these are the things that are not allowed, I can tell you that you start to build negative, toxic. Like one of the most dangerous culture I've noticed is where if everybody can have access to the MD, or it goes directly to the MD to report. Okay, see what this person is doing. And instead of the MD going to the person, this is what this person told me, is it true? You start to build a toxic culture whereby everybody knows that if I want to get favor, I need to be sabotaging other people for me to get favor of the MD. But when everybody knows that there is a clear chain of command, if you tell the MD anything, he'll call the person and say, this person told me you did this. Then everybody knows, yes, in this organization, gossips are not tolerated. But if you don't do that, if those kind of negative cultures start to build, and you don't openly, in fact, there was a company that exemplified it. One of a new staff went to report the person was reporting to sir, this is what my guy is doing. Thank you very much for reporting. And next 30 minutes he was called back, and there was his the manager was reporting to tell me what you said this person did. This your boy talking to you said you did is it true? And when the guy did this thing, he now called, don't go, if you reprimand him because of what I just did, I was sanctioning on it. Because he wanted to discourage those kind of gossips in this company. And follow up. What you don't monitor, you can't get good result out of. You guys can see how the challenge you are even having on the platforms on getting people just to give their reports. If you don't follow up people, every human being tries to follow the path of least resistance, just like water. If you don't follow up on activities, people will not deliver. And it's by constant follow-up that you build positive cultures. When you follow up people on certain things, with time they look at, these are the minimum things I must do every day. And when the people now know that I'm being followed up all the time, they'll start to do it naturally. But if you tell people and you don't follow up, there's no way you can get the result you want out of them. Finally, understanding the difference between functionality and finesse. It has to be very clear to you what your customer wants from your goods or your service.
So the
difference between functionality and finesse. Finesse as in making it look nice. It needs to be very clear to you what your customer wants from you. So recently I was having, which is why I'm using these glasses now, I was having issues with reading, not really, if I'm reading I have this pain in the eye, and so I went to see an eye specialist and they said I needed to get a glass. I said okay now. So I went and got the first glass, rimless. So this type that the governor is wearing. Very touch, cost me about 22,000. Got the first one, wore it for about 1 week. The glass broke. Spent another 10,000 to replace it. Within 2 weeks, the glass broke. And I went to Yaba with 2,000 and got this one. And it has been working for me. No, the frame, not the glass. Still the same glass, but the frame. So sometimes we might think that, oh, let's make this thing very beautiful, but the main function that the consumer wants, is it being delivered? Because you are focusing on, let's make it, just like what those plumbers were saying about the bank connector. Maybe people were doing it to make it double click, lock in. But the functionality is, I want it to fix first and work before the double click or whatever locking in. So you need to make this your staff understand this in whatever that they are doing, in whatever they are trying to deliver. The functionality first has to be very, very clear to everybody. Account, for instance, before you start to do the charts and anything, our profit and loss has to balance. Before you start to do return on assets, return on revenue, our EBITDA and every other thing, the basic things, the sales are all of them captured. The expenses are all of them captured. Before they start to do any other finesse, the functionalities, the core one must be in place. Which is why identify the core of any sector, of any office, of any unit, and clearly define to them. Even if you are doing anything, make sure that these are achieved first. Because just like somebody, I had a joke that a man took his car is to fix his brake to his mechanic, and when after fixing it, the guy went to pick the car. As he was moving, he had an accident. But before the accident, as he was pressing the horn, he noticed the horn was very loud. So when he now called the mechanic, I brought my car for you to fix the brake. So guy tried to fix the brake, it didn't work, so I made your horn louder. Meaning that the horn was louder for something that anybody can hear the horn. But the main reason why the car was brought to it was the brake was not done. So for us, everybody has to be clear that this is why you are here. This is your primary job. This is your primary thing, that before any other thing, these things must be achieved. Or else you find your people running around, but the core reason why they were employed, nobody is